welcome to Lauren Reed Color. Thanks for joining me for today's Saturday Snippets. So in today's video, we are going to be continuing our page in Mijn Reis door Afrika by Rita Berman. We are working on the Crocodile on the Sandbank page using Caran d'Ache Pablo pencils. Before I continue on and talk about what I've been up to this week, I thought I would talk a little bit about how I am using Caran from my Colorful Country Life's new palette kit website to choose the Prisma alternatives to the Pablo pencils that we're going to be using. I just want to start off by saying that Caran's website is not a website with color palettes that you can choose pencils to match. Rather, it is a website where you can create gradients or use the gradients that she's already created and then convert one pencil brand to another pencil brand. So I will be showing you how I did that for these Pablo pencils. I will also be filming a completely new video showcasing how I use her website with the palettes that I have from Sarah Renee Clark's Color Cubes or Joanna Stone's color palettes or Naomi Kuno's color combinations book, but that will be a separate video. So let's move across to the screen recording of my computer where I show you how I am using the website. This is the palette kit website designed by Caran from My Colorful Country Life and by her brother, who is a web designer. It is a website designed by a colorist for other colorists, which I think is amazing. Anyway, I'm not going to go into too much detail about the website right now. I'm going to be doing another in-depth video, as I said earlier, and I will talk about all the features and everything. One thing I do want to say is that this is not a website that has color palettes right now. Caran did say that she's going to be adding color palettes, but it's not something that exists right now. Instead, it is currently a website for building gradients and then converting pencils from one brand to another. So at this moment, I'm just going to show you how I created the gradient for our page and how I converted the pencils from the Caran d'Ache Pablos into the Prismacolors. So for that, I go to my kit and I select my gradients. And this is the gradient that I created for our page. Now, as you can see, here you have Caput Mortuum, which is actually a polychromos pencil. And the reason for this is because I wanted a really dark shade. And the darkest available shade in Pablo's was the dark carmine, which I felt was not dark enough. So the dark carmine, the Bordeaux red, the salmon pink, and the pale yellow are all Pablo pencils, but the Caput Mortuum is polychromos. Now, for gradients that are created by Caran, there is the option here of converting all of these pencils into whatever brand of your choice. But I've noticed that for gradients that I have created, this option is not available. Nevertheless, Jess from Coloring Bumblebee said that she spoke to Caran and this feature should exist, but there seems to be a bug and her brother is working on fixing it. In the meantime, in order to convert the pencils into Prismacolor, I have to go to my kit again, select my pencils, and here I have all of the pencils in my collection. I can also change here to a list view. So if I click on the Caput Mortuum in Polychromos and click on the See Alternatives in Other Brands button, I will get the closest matches in other pencil brands. Now, this system works on hex codes and an algorithm, so the matches might not be 100% exact. It does tell you if it's a 96% match or a 91, or if you scroll even further, you can get an 84% match. For Prismacolors, the closest match is mahogany red. Now, I feel that this is not sufficiently similar to the Caput Mortuum. From looking at my swatches in the Prismacolor, I feel that Tuscan red is a much more similar match, and I think that it is a better choice for this particular pencil. If I go to the dark carmine in Pablo and I click the button, I get a much closer match. Here it's 94% mahogany red. If I go to the Bordeaux red, which is another color in the gradient, I get mahogany red again, which once more I don't think is a close enough match. I personally think that magenta is a closer match, even though it's got more of a purplish hue to it. I think it would work good with the rest of the gradient. Then there is the salmon pink, which the conversion gives us in terms of Prismacolor. The closest match is Nectar. Again, I don't feel that this is the best option. I think Peach is a better option. And finally, we have the Pale Yellow, which according to the conversion converts to Prismacolor Cream, which I think is pretty close. So let me go back to the gradient. This is the gradient that I created for the flowers in the Crocodile on the Sandbank page, and I'm calling it Pink Horizon. So yeah, let's move back to our page and start working on it. Back to our swatches. So I chose the pencils and created the gradient on Karen's website, and then I swatched them out in my notebook because I wasn't 100% sure that the gradient that I saw on the computer would actually be the gradient that I achieved with the pencils. So as I said, it's always a good idea to swatch out your pencils, and that is what I've done. So it's Caput Mortuum from Polychromos, Dark Carmine, Bordeaux Red, Salmon Pink, Pale Yellow, and this is the gradient that I achieved with the pencils, and it was pretty close to the website. I'm actually quite impressed. Anyway, I also, yes, have my Prismacolor alternatives. So as I said, I think Caput Mortuum is Tuscan Red, Dark Carmine is Mahogany Red, Bordeaux is Magenta, Salmon Pink is either Nectar or Peach or Salmon Pink in the Prismacolor. You can swatch them out and see which one you like the best, and Pale Yellow is Cream. So those are the colors that we're going to be using for the flowers in our Crocodile page. But before we do that, I'm going to show you what I've been doing this week. I managed to finish 2 pages this week. These are both pages that were ongoing whips for the last couple of weeks, so I'm not at all surprised that I managed to finish them because they were almost done. Anyway, the first one is in Mythographic Dragonspell by Joseph Katzenbang, and the page that I worked on is the Dragon Travels page. This page was an interesting project. It went through some quite ugly duckling phases. I kept changing my mind about what I wanted to do with it and consulting the roommate. Eventually I decided that I wanted to keep it to a more limited palette and then just have touches of other colors on the page. So that is why the vines are teal and the flowers are purple, and the rest of it is pinks and yellows. Also, I started seeing that the page was starting to tear out at the perforated edges, so I taped it down. Yes, this is a very naughty dragon. He was on an airplane, caused it to crash, and also it's not surprising that my page is starting to tear because it's the dragon's fault. Anyway, so that is the page that I completed in Dragonspell. Another page that I completed is in The Night Voyage by Daria Song. This was an experimental page. I wanted to see if I could use only water mediums, and I'm quite happy with the result. So if you've been watching the previous Saturday snippets, you've been seeing the progress that I made on the page. So basically it is, I drew in the buildings, okay, and then I filled them in with Derwent Inktense, okay, as a base layer. Then I put in Neocolor 2s in the background. Then I decided that I wanted a cloudy background sky, so I used white gouache and dabbed it on top of the Neocolor. Also, before I put the white gouache for the clouds, I put layers of gouache paint on top of the Neocolor 2s to darken it up a little bit and get a little bit of a gradient. Then I put the white gouache for the clouds. This side I really like. I think this side came out really beautifully. I'm very happy with it. I also went over all of the buildings with watercolor paint. It was the Prima Terrain set of watercolors, the Blue Shadow and the Purple Smoke, I think it's called. Those are the two colors that I put on top of the Inktense. And on this side, I didn't like what I had. It seemed to be a lot more blurry and murky and a little bit muddy. I debated putting in more clouds, but then the roommate / assistant suggested that I put in a moon. So that's what I did. I used the Derwent White dry to draw in the moon and color it in, and then I put some of the same paint that I used on the buildings to create the shadows on the moon. And then the cat is Castle Arts 120 pencils. It is the only part of the page that is pencil. Everything else is completely water mediums, and overall I'm really pleased with my experiment. It was a learning experience. I learned a lot about putting down Inktense, putting water paint on top of Inktense, mixing different gouache colors together. So I'm really pleased with the experiment, and I will definitely be using some of these combinations of mediums on other pages in the future. So that is my page in The Night Voyage by Daria Song. A whip that I started this week is in Creative Haven Wish You Were Here by Teresa Goodridge. This is a page that I'm doing as a speed coloring color along on the channel. I'm filming it as I color it, and it will be up as soon as it's done. Again, it is a speed coloring with voiceover, and so yeah, I'm making some progress with it. So the page that I chose to do is this Springtime in Paris page with the picnic and the Eiffel Tower. And so far I have colored the pinkish purple gradient sky, and that is as far as I've gotten. I am using Prismacolor pencils for this, and all of the pencils will be listed in the video once it is filmed and up on the channel. So if you want to join me for that, that would be wonderful. So that's my page in Wish You Were Here. And the last page that I worked on this week is in Mythomorphia by Kirby Rosannes. I'm in a Mythomorphia group on Instagram. I'm way behind, but I am working on the, one second, make sure I get my tab. I am working on the Kitsune page. So up until this week, I had done the blue background, the grass with Inktense, the tail of the Kitsune based with Neocolor 2s, and that is as far as I had gotten, and I think that was a couple of months ago. Anyway, I decided that I want to continue with the page. I put down a layer of Inktense for basing the trees, and I have started shading the Kitsune with Polychromos pencils, and I must say I really like how it is coming out. The Polychromos on top of the Neocolor 2 on this paper is working fantastically, and I am enjoying the process of coloring the fur. It's quite relaxing. I will continue with this same color combination on the orange parts of the tail, and then I will move on to doing the other colors, and then I will do the background. Since the most of the page is actually the Kitsune, I think that once the Kitsune is colored, the page will go relatively quickly. But yeah, I'm really happy to be back to doing this page in Mythomorphia. And now we're going to move on to today's actual feature, which is coloring in Mijn Reis door Afrika by Rita Berman. Today we're starting with the pillars. We're going to do this bridge and the bridge over here and the brickwork. And then if we have time, we will also be doing this flower. I'm going to be starting with the light beige, which in Prismacolor is French gray 30%. Yeah, so let's just get started with this. I'm going to put a light layer of this color. Do I want to zoom in a bit more? Let's zoom in a bit more onto these pillars over here. Okay. Yeah, so just a reminder, if you are new here, these are chatty videos, and I chat about all sorts of things, but today I thought that I would participate in a tag that Wendy from Jazzy Doodle Designs tagged me in. Okay, and it's something called, I think it's called the I Would Rather tag. So there's a list of 25 topics, this or that, and you decide which one is related to you or best defines who you are. And I thought this was a really nice way for you guys to learn a little bit more about me. But before then, as you may or not be able to hear, there is a whiny dog in the background who wants to, participate in today's color and chat. So I thought I would give you an update on how Toby is doing. Moving on to our next color, which is Cocoa, and in the Prismacolor, it is French Gray 70%. Okay, and we're going to use this one for deepening up shading. I've got quite a sharp pencil because the details in this book are really tiny. Yeah, anyway, so I thought I would give you an update on how Toby is doing because he broke his leg. And as you can hear, he has quite a bit to say about the whole situation. So he was doing pretty well. He's always been quite a vocal dog. I've always said he's like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. During the day, he is Dr. Jekyll, and then as soon as the sun sets, he turns into Mr. Hyde, and he's been that way his entire life. This is nothing new. But since he's broken his leg, it seems to have gotten worse. Anyway, so yeah, as I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by the dog, that he has become a little bit worse since he's broken his leg. Anyway, on Tuesday, he was really hysterical. He was barking and whimpering and crying, and it was going on for a long time. And then at lunchtime, he refused to eat. So that's no good. So we took him off to the vet. I must say, this vet is amazing. It's a new vet because the old vet retired. And she gave him a good checkup. She listened to his heart, and she checked his leg, and she touched it, and I think she wanted to make sure that he had feeling in the leg, and he did. He definitely did. Gave out a little squeal, and then so she was saying that health-wise he's fine, and she was very impressed with him because he's almost 18, and she said he's got really soft fur. Yes, you have very soft fur. So, anyway, she said that health-wise he's fine. The leg is healing, and she thinks that it's a bit of frustration and anxiety because he's a very active dog. We go he's a Jack Russell. He's got a lot of energy. We used to go for 20-minute walks. Now that he's a bit older, they're more like 10 to 15-minute walks, whereas when he was younger, they were more like 20 to 30-minute walks, and quite a couple of times a day, like a few times a day, especially in the evening. To get him to calm down in the evening, I would really walk with him a lot. So we're not able to do that. First because he's got arthritis, and now because of the broken leg. So she said that he's frustrated. Okay, I'm taking this color and I'm just going in between the brickwork. It's like the mortar for the bricks. So he's frustrated, and also he's broken his leg and he's been in pain, so he's also a bit anxious. So she gave him a mild sedative for me to, like in pill form, for me to give him at home. Anyway, and she said that I can give him half a pill twice a day. And if necessary, I can increase the dose to a whole pill twice a day. Anyway, the first night, Tuesday, when we came home, I gave him the pill, half a pill, and it knocked him unconscious. I was starting to worry. He was sleeping and sleeping and sleeping, and I was beginning to get a little bit worried, and I woke him up so that we could go for a walk and do our business, and then he went right back to sleep. So I realized that half a pill is too much for him. And I've reduced it to a quarter pill twice a day. And it still knocks him out. And I gave it to him this morning, but it's not kicked in yet. So that is why you can hear him
expressing his opinions very loudly. And it's already past his usual nap time, even before the pull. He usually sleeps at some point in the morning. Okay. Ooh, I like that. I'm just looking on our previous, I'm thinking the light source is over here, so our highlight is going to be over there. So let's just do this. Yeah, these pencils are working so beautifully on this paper. I'm quite impressed. Okay, so that is the pillar. Do we want to blend any of that? I think so. Let's blend. So we're going to go back in with the light beige and just blend some of this out a little bit. Not too much. And I'm thinking, do I want to deepen up my shadows even more? No, I think I like that. I don't think we need any other colors. Okay. Now for this brickwork, we're going to go back to the colors that are in the mosque. But before then, we are going to do these stairs. Let's do these stairs over here. Let me just shove this across a bit. Anyway, so that's our update on Toby. And now I will move over to doing Wendy's Would You Rather questions. I have them written out next to me, so every once in a while I might stop just to read the question. Okay, so let me while I'm switching out pencils, let's go and read pencil. Let's go and read question number 1. Okay, so question number 1 is: would you rather live near the beach or the mountains? So yes, I already live in the mountains. I live in the mountains, and I love the air. It's so clean and fresh. I really enjoy it. That said, I also live about 30 minutes from the beach. So if I ever feel the need to go to the beach, I can go to the beach. But I'm not really a beach person. I don't like sand. It gets into everything. I much prefer, swimming in lakes or swimming pools, because I'm not a fan of the beach. So I'm very happy to live in the mountains and to live near enough to the beach if I should ever get the inclination to go. So definitely a mountain girl. Also, I have asthma, and usually it is much more humid near the beach, which means it messes with my asthma. So, yeah, mountains for me. Okay, so that was question number 1. Let's see what question number 2 is. Would you rather have a talking pet or a self-cleaning house? As you can tell from the whimpering, I already have a talking pet. He likes to complain. He likes to express his opinions very loudly on occasion. Okay, back to the light beige. Yeah, so he already talks, so I don't think I need another talking pet. And as for, sometimes I would like it if he could tell me what his issues are in actual words rather than just barking and whimpering. Like now with his broken leg, I would love to know, where it hurts or what I could do to make him happy. But yeah, he's quite a vocal dog. And I think I said once on the channel that I went to the vet once, and, Toby talks, and his assistant, who was practicing to be a vet, a student vet, yes, was quite surprised. And then the vet said, yes, well, dogs will, if you talk to them, they'll talk to you. Okay, so here I don't want this wall to be the same color as these pillars, because I don't want them to merge in. So I think I'm going to take the So I'm taking the brownish orange, which in the Prismacolor is sienna brown, because as I said, I don't want it to be too similar to these pillars. And so we're going to do this. Yeah, so we're going to do there. Yeah, that's good. Right, so I can't remember what I was talking about. I think it was, would I rather have a dog that talked or a self-cleaning house, or an animal that talked, or a self-cleaning house? And as I said, I already have an animal who talks. And so, and I hate housework, so I think I would rather have a self-cleaning house, and then I wouldn't have to clean my house myself. Okay, the next question is, would you rather glow in the dark or sparkle in the sunlight? Oh, okay, so that is very obviously inspired by Twilight, because the vampires sparkle in the daylight. Yeah, I think I would rather glow in the dark. I think it would be far more useful in order to see in the dark if I glowed. And then I wouldn't have to worry about torches or lanterns or anything of that nature. Yeah, so I think I would rather do that. Oh, I really like that. Now let's just put in here the, I think I had, let's see, do I want sepia or do I want Van Dyke brown? Let's put the Van Dyke brown. It will make it more cohesive with the mosque. So yeah, just in the deepest shadows, this Van Dyke brown. Yeah, so yeah, I'd rather glow in the dark. What's the next question? Would you rather read all day or hike all day? So as you could probably tell from the name of my channel, I am an avid reader. And yes, I have on occasion read all day. So yeah, definitely read all day. And I don't know, I am no longer as young as I used to be, so hiking all day, which I have done in the past as well, is just not something that I think would be very good for me right now. Okay, I'm just blending that out. We're leaving our highlight there in the middle. Okay, I think I will go in with the light ochre. Okay, which is, just trying to remember the Prismacolor. It is sand. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna put this in so that we have a bit of a glow from the lanterns, the windows. Okay, now we're going to do this bridge on the side. One second, let me move the page. We're going to do this bridge exactly the same. So we're going in with our light beige. Okay, next question is, would you rather eat pizza or ice cream for breakfast? And I replied to Wendy on her video that because she said something about she prefers pizza and she will fight anyone. And I told her I also prefer pizza, but she doesn't have to fight me for it. And she replied that she wouldn't fight me. There's enough pizza to go around. Yeah, so we're putting this in there. And then we're again, oh wait, I want to also put it on the tops here. Yeah, enough pizza to go around. Yeah, so definitely pizza for breakfast. I have definitely done that on occasion. And I agree that there is nothing quite like cold or warmed up pizza for breakfast. I love pizza. I like ice cream as well, but not for breakfast. It's a bit too early in the morning for that. Yeah, so definitely pizza. All right, I need to be careful here. I need to go around these. I think they're leaves. Yeah, and I think I'm also going to put this color. That's crocodile. Let's not color the crocodile brown. Putting this in between here. And that is part of the circle. So if anything, it's going to be whatever colors we put here. Okay, and now back in with the Van Dyke Brown. Wait, let me get the next question. Oops, sorry. Next question, would you rather see into the future or go back in time? Ooh, this one is hard. I don't think I'd like to see in the future, because if you see into the future, then this is going to affect your decision making, and you might make a decision that you regret, because it might have far-reaching consequences beyond that moment of time that you peek into in the future. So yeah, I don't want to see the future. Now, as for going back in time, I think it would depend on which time period we're talking about. I don't think I would like to go back in time to a period where women had no rights, and I don't think that I would like to go back in time where people died from horrible diseases. I think I might like to go back in time to the 1950s or the 1960s for the music and the cultural events and things like that, but no further than that. I don't think I would be happy in the past where, women were even more discriminated against than they are today. Yeah, not for me. Okay. So let's see, what other questions? 1 second, let me just put in this ochre. Oh, I like that. That's come out nice. I want to do this what is it, a portal? It's not a portal, it's a doorway. Next question. Would you rather have a robot voice or a chipmunk laugh? I think I would rather have a chipmunk laugh. They are so cute. Elvin and the Chipmunks. Yes, definitely a chipmunk laugh. I think robots are overrated. So, yeah. I think for this, do we want to make it more like the pillars? Yeah, I think we want to make it more like the pillars because these stairs sort of go together. So back in with the cocoa, right? And we're just gonna do these things here and shade a little bit around the doorway. But we want our highlight to be on the other side there. It'll make it look rounder. Yeah, so definitely chipmunk laugh for me. And again with the yellow ochre, just a little bit. Okay, next question. Would you rather color uninterrupted all day or for 1 hour every day? So that's already something that I do. 1 second, I'm just looking at our page. We're now going to do these like inlaid bricks. So what we're going to do to make them look round is let me just move over a bit. Sorry about that. So what we're going to do for these bricks is that we're going to make them darker on the bottom and the highlight is going to be on the top. And we're going to start with a base layer of light ochre, which is sand in Prismacolor. Okay, so I'm just putting this over all of these bricks. I'm on camera, yes. Oh, I noticed that I missed out on this bit here. So cocoa, that's the color we use there. Right. Yeah, so would I rather color uninterrupted for a whole day or for an hour every day? And more or less, that's what I do now. I color for an hour every day. I can't color uninterrupted. I've got other things to do. I've got food to eat and a dog to take care of and work to go to. So I even on weekends, I never color for the whole day uninterrupted. I color for a few hours, and during the week I do more or less color every day for about an hour, sometimes more, sometimes less. But yeah, so I think definitely the second option. I'm just trying to look here at this bit with the, I think this should be the continuation of that. So we need to go in there with the beige and just color in this bit. Okay, it's the colors from last time and the brownish beige. And then I think it was the Van Dyke brown. Yeah, Van Dyke brown. Just for our shadows. Okay, and then this bit is going to be the sepia, Van Dyke brown, I can't remember. Let's put the cocoa, I think it was cocoa. In between the bricks. Yeah, and then the ochre. Top of the bricks for the base layer. And here, oh, I'm off screen. We're also doing it on these. I must remember to move the page across. Okay, and there as well. And I think also these bricks. So in between, we need the cocoa. It's just really tiny spots, really. And then the ochre for our base layer. Okay, and then I think we're going to go, I'm trying to think what colors I want. Slightly different than everything else. So let's do burnt sienna, which in Prismacolor is chestnut. What is our next question? Let me look at the list here. Would you rather swim with dolphins or fly with birds? And yeah, that one's also an easy choice. I would much rather swim with dolphins. Yeah, I'm not really into heights. I don't think that flying would suit me. I'm not, I don't know, when I was younger, I loved to fly. I loved to go in airplanes. But as I've gotten older, I'm not a happy flyer. I don't really enjoy it as much as I used to. I don't know why that is. I had no problem flying when I was a teenager or even in my 30s. It's like when I reached my 40s, I was like, nope, that's it. Not a fan anymore. Yeah, so I would definitely rather swim with dolphins. And also dolphins are so smart. Just putting in this color. We want to make sure to keep the highlight. I might erase some of this and some of these other bricks. Yeah, next question. Would you rather live in a city penthouse or a rural castle? Yeah, I think also a rural castle for me. In general, I'm not a big fan of cities. I've only ever lived in one. No, strike that. I've lived in 2 big cities. When I was really small, I just don't remember. But we lived in a suburb of Johannesburg. But I don't really remember that. You know, my parents took me everywhere. And when I was at university, one second, I do want to erase some of this and get our highlight back. Hold on. Sorry about that. I think I might have been off camera for some of that, but basically I was just taking the burnt sienna and putting it on the bottoms, and some of this is too much. I want to erase some of that and get the highlight back. So wait, let's just go back in with the ochre to get our base layer again. Yeah, this is the beauty of layering. You can always erase the top layer.
Okay, yeah, so, and when I was at university, I lived in Haifa, because I went to the University of Haifa. For my MA, I went to the University of Reading in the UK. So I wouldn't exactly consider either one of those really big cities. Reading is about half an hour from London, and Haifa is the third biggest city in Israel. But I lived there for 4 years. And I lived in Reading for a year. It was fine. It was nice. But I'm definitely a small town girl at heart. I lived in a small town my whole life after we moved to Israel. And and I like living in a small town. I know everybody, and it's just big enough that when we first moved here, there were about 25,000 people in my town. It had just become a city officially, even though it's officially a city, but it's not. It's a town. And now we have about 70,000 people live in my town. And while that seems like a lot, it's not really. Because I also have a job where I know a lot of people. And like people I went to high school with, I see all the time. And yeah. So it's just big enough for me and just small enough for me. It's just right, like Goldilocks's beds or porridges or whatever. Okay, wait, let's move over. We're going to do these ones now. I don't know if I said what I did. So it was a light yellow ochre, then it was burnt sienna, and then it was the darkest shading with Van Dyke brown. Okay, so back into these bricks with the burnt sienna. Yeah, so definitely I'm a rural person. So living in a rural castle is much more my thing. Okay, number 11. Would you rather have a live-in cook or a massage therapist? Oh, wow. Wow. That's a hard one. I don't think I always need a massage therapist, but I would always, make use of a cook. Live-in cook, I think so. Much more useful than a massage therapist. I can always go to physiotherapy for the massage or to the spa. But I think live-in cooks are far more useful. What's next on the list of questions? Would you rather give up salt or sugar? Okay, so I don't really like sweet things. So giving up sugar would not be a problem. I more or less have given up sugar. So when I want to say 15 years ago, I put on a lot of weight and I didn't like it. So I went on a diet and I gave up sugar. I replaced sugar with honey, which is less fattening. And I also reduced significantly the amount of honey. And I lost about 15 kilos. It took me about 3 years, but I lost about 15 kilos. And I've even managed to keep it off, the weight, which is hard, going on a diet and losing a lot of weight. The issue is sometimes, we go back to our bad habits, but I completely changed the way that I ate. I started eating a lot more healthy. I started paying attention to the calorie content in the food that I was eating more vegetables and fruit. And I think overall, I felt better. So I was quite proud of myself, but it did take me a long time. And it wasn't easy at first. When I first started, I was always hungry. Let's go back over to the side. And then I read an article
that said what was happening. I was eating breakfast early in the morning, and then by lunchtime I was starving. So I read this article about, healthy eating and dieting, and it said a couple of interesting things that I implemented that made the process a lot easier. So for example, they said you don't have to eat breakfast at 8 o'clock in the morning. You can eat breakfast a little later. And if you eat breakfast a little later, then you're not as hungry at lunchtime. So that's what I did. I ate, instead of eating breakfast at 8 or before 8, I would eat breakfast like at 9:30, and then at 12 or 1 o'clock, I wasn't as hungry. And and another thing that I read, which made it a lot easier. And another thing that I read, what else did I read? I read that different people react differently to different foods. So for example, if I eat rice, I put on weight. If I eat potatoes, I don't put on weight. So so potato starch is better for me than rice starch. And things like that, I read articles and I found out what would make my life easier. Okay, let's zoom out. I think we are finished all of the mosque and we can move over to our flower. So just 1 second. Oh, I really like that. That came out beautifully. And now we're going to move over to our flower. So I am going to zoom in on this side of the page. Okay, so, right. We're zoomed in on our flower and we have two options. We can either make the middle light and then the tips of the flowers darker, or we could make the middle of the flower darker and the tips lighter. I think we're going to go with that. We're going to make the middle darker and the tips lighter. So we're going to start off with a base layer of salmon rose. Now I just want to say that there are 3 flowers here and they're not all going to be the same. We're gonna mix and match. We're gonna mix it up. Okay, so we're going to start with a base layer of the salmon pink, and if you have Prismacolor, it is either peach or salmon pink in the Prismacolor. So let's just very lightly put a base layer of this color over all of our petals. Let me go back to my questions. What was the next question? Would you rather color only with water mediums or dry mediums? Since I am a pencil person, I enjoy using pencils, I am going to go with dry mediums. I like pencils. I like what's the word? Dry pastels. So definitely dry mediums. But I think that having a balance and a mix of both is the way to go. So definitely dry mediums if I had to choose. Okay. Our next color is the Bordeaux red. Okay. And our next question is, would you rather color only 1 page in 35 coloring books or color every page in 5 books? Well, I am a completionist. I like to finish things. So I am going to go with finish 5 books, color all the pages in 5 books. I would feel, stressed if I only colored 1 page in every book that I owned. I would much rather color all the pages. So that one was pretty easy. That's an easy question. What's the next question? Would you rather be able to speak all human languages or be able to speak to animals? I would rather be able to speak to animals. I don't think I'm that interested in what human beings have to say. Hold on, I'm just going to turn the page a bit because I like to flick. I find flicking much easier from bottom to top. Yeah, so I want to know what animals have to say. I want to know what animals are thinking. I'm not as interested in human beings. So I definitely would like to know, would like the ability to speak to animals. Would you rather binge watch a new series or rewatch an old favorite? Oh, this is a hard choice. I've done both. I have been binge watched new series. Like, for example, I am binge watching The Leftovers now, and wow, that show is strange. I still don't know what's going on, really. But I don't know. It's a train wreck. But I don't know. It's like, I'm totally hooked on it for reasons that completely escape me. I'm just turning this around some more. I do not know why that show appeals to me, but I'm hooked and I'm binge watching. But I also like rewatching old shows. I rewatched Midsummer Murders. I rewatched Some of Bones. I took a break, but I'll get back to it. I rewatched all of Law and Order, all 24 seasons of it. Wow, that was a long rewatch. I definitely want to rewatch the X-Files. I don't want to choose. I do both, and I like both. If I really had to choose, I think I would rather rewatch an old favorite, because you sort of know what you're going to get. You know you're going to enjoy it. Okay, hold on. Let's go back to the original positioning of the page. Hold on. All right, next is the dark carmine, and only in the shadow areas. And the next question is, would you rather own all the coloring books from your favorite illustrator or own coloring books from many different illustrators but not your favorite? I don't know what it means by not your favorite. Is it a colorist that I like, but they're not my favorite? Or is it a colorist that is completely new to me and I don't know their artwork at all? Or is it a colorist that I actually dislike? So I'm not really sure what it means by not your favorite. If it was a coloring artist that I enjoyed their art, but they're not my favorite, then I would go with that. I would rather have lots of different books by lots of different illustrators that are not my favorite, but I still enjoy coloring in their works. But if it's a new to me artist that I don't know, or an artist whose works I don't like, then I would rather have all of the books by my favorite. I mean, because if I think about it right now, that's what I have. Well, I have some books by my favorites and some books by artists that I like but are not necessarily favorites. Yeah, so that's my answer. I'm going with that. Okay, I'm just rotating so I can get my pencil down. Okay, so yeah. One second. What's the next question? The next question is, would you rather own all Derwent, all Caran d'Ache, or all Faber-Castell products? This is also a hard choice because I have products by all three of those brands, not all of them. This is hard. Hold on. If I had to choose only one, I think I'm going with Faber-Castell, simply because I have to have the polychromos. I cannot do without them. So yeah, Faber-Castell. And I like their other brands. I like the gelatos, not their other brands, their other sets. I like their gelatos. I like the Art Grip Aquarelle. I like the few Arbordura pencils that I have. I like their sharpeners. I like their erasers. So yeah, Faber-Castell. Just doing this darker there. Was I off screen? Sorry. So I was just darkening up some of these in the corners. But we're actually going to go now. Now we are going to go in with the Caput Mortuum. No, this is Caput. Oh, sorry. It's Caput Mortuum Violet. And as I said, Tuscan Red. Okay, Tuscan Red if you have Prismacolor. Okay, so next question. Would you rather color cute or creepy? Definitely cute. I like some creepy. For example, I love Kirby Roseanne's Dark Fairy Tales, but I don't like the beauty of horror. I don't like the Mythagoria books. I much prefer the cute style. Johanna Basford, Rita Berman, Maria Trolle, Lulu Mayo. Oh, this is nice. This is darkening it up nicely. Okay, this paper is going to stop taking layers pretty soon. So we will just do one more layer to blend out this Caput Mortuum Violet. And then we will, because I think that's it. The paper is not really taking pencil layers anymore. How many layers did we get? We got quite a few. Quite impressed with the paper in this book. Okay. Next question. Hold on. I have to get my iPad up and running again. Next question. Would you rather color at a desk or on the couch? Okay, so I'm just taking the Bordeaux red. Okay, and I'm going to blend out this Caput Mortuum. I cannot color on the couch. I don't find it comfortable. I have to sit at a desk. So that was also an easy choice. Yeah, just blending that out. Next question. But before then, we're going to take the pale yellow and we are just going to put some of this in the highlight areas. You can't really see it. Can you see it on camera? Oh, yes, you can. Okay. Oh, that looks nice. This was a good combination. I'm happy with that. Okay. What was the question? Oh, yes, couch or desk. Next question. Would you rather have the ability to teleport or to be invisible? I don't want to be invisible. If you're invisible and people talk about you, you might not want to hear what they have to say. I'd rather be able to just get from one place to another very quickly. Okay, now we're going to do the center of this flower, and for that we're going to take the light ochre and just put it over everything, but leave a highlight here at the top. Next question. Would you rather eat spicy or sweet? And yes, as I said earlier, I do not necessarily like sweet food. I like spicy food, burnt sienna, so definitely spicy. I can very easily do away with sweet. Okay, now we're going to blend that out again with the ochre. And we're going to take the Van Dyke brown. Do that. Okay, and then we are going to take, do I have it here? I don't have it here. I have to go and get my yellow acrylic marker. 1 second. Okay, and we're just putting in some dots here in the middle. Yep. Okay, so Yeah, I would definitely rather eat spicy than sweet. Would you rather color with alcohol markers or water-based markers? Definitely water-based markers. Alcohol markers I struggle with. I struggle with blending. I can only use them for basing. And of course, if you use alcohol markers, you have to color in single-sided books, which limits your options. So definitely water-based markers. 2 more questions to go, because I think we're almost done for today. Would you rather color the background first or last? I find it easier to color the background in first, because if you do that, then you can find colors to match the background. Coloring the page first makes it difficult to do the background. You have to find colors that match what you've already colored, which is more difficult and limits your options. And if you color the background first, then you don't lose momentum for the background. If you color it last, sometimes you lose your momentum and then you're not interested in making a background. So definitely first. And the last question, would you rather color Hannah Carlson, Maria Trolle, and Melpomene, or Rita Berman, Denise Klett, and Kirby Rosans? Oh, wow, that's hard. I would rather color all of them. Okay, for this flower, we're going to put a base layer first of the pale yellow. Yes, I am definitely saying I would rather color all of them. I don't want to choose. And that's just the way it is. Okay, we're just going to put a base layer of this over all of these petals, and then we're going to call it a day. Okay, that's it. Let's zoom out and see what we've got. This is what it looks like right now, and I'm really pleased with the way it's coming out. I think that the gradient that we got on our brickwork is lovely. It came out beautifully, and I like this color combination that we chose for the flower, and I'm looking forward to doing the same pencils but in a different combination on this flower. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned next week for a video about the palette kit website from Karen, and I will definitely be doing a more in-depth analysis of all of the features and all of the things that you can do with it. So thanks again, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye for now.